Aloha. So I thought it would be prudent to talk about another subject which is important in this synchronous journey that we are all on together, and that is the subject of fear. Um, Sometimes we might come across like negative synchronicities, things that scare us, things that make us uncomfortable. And what do we do with that? In my recent experience, I had seen, as I was walking, hundreds of centipedes on the ground. Not centipedes, my apologies, millipedes. And I didn't really know how to interpret that. So I went online and I looked up the spiritual meaning of millipedes. And I saw two interesting things. And what I'm getting at here is you can always look at things from a positive standpoint or a negative standpoint. Um, so when I looked up the millipedes, and I'll share all this in a little bit here, one thing I found was very negative, and one thing I found was very positive. Both things were helpful to me. The negative thing kind of brought up some stuff that I needed to work on. The positive thing gave me hope for stuff that it can be better. So I'll share that right now, and then we'll continue on here. Here's another weird synchronicity. Well, at first I thought it was 3, but it appears to be actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these little centipedes. 7 centipedes. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's a fuck ton of centipedes over here. 14. And then over here, we see these spiders, 3. What does it mean? Who the fuck knows? So it continued on this walk for a little while, and I saw these millipedes all over the place. And when I looked up the spiritual significance of the millipede, now I'm gonna find it again. Millipede. Millipede spiritual meaning. I'm going to redo this now because Alrighty, so I found 2 of them because, as we all know, there's a duality in life. I'll read the funniest one first. This is from marthabeck.com. I know we'd all love to have a porcupine that jumps around and seems to flee from invisible foes as our spirit animal, but that's just too bad. You can't always get what you want. This month's lame animal totem is a millipede, specifically the kind captured by ring-tailed lemurs who squeeze the millipedes until they exude a poisonous liquid. The lemurs rub the millipede venom on their fur, then stagger around with glazed eyes, foaming happily at the mouth. They carefully release the millipedes back into the wild to continue doing what millipedes do best, producing more venom and having feet. Many, many feet. If your spirit animal is the millipede, no one likes you. Some people may appear friendly, but they just want to goad you into doing that thing you do so they can send you away, rub each other's backs, and gossip about your toxicity. Use millipede energy to nurse your grievances into huge deposits of rage, self-pity, and all other forms of emotional poison. This may attract someone whose spirit animal is the ring-tailed lemur, and they may squeeze you, and this will probably be the closest you'll ever get to a fulfilling sexual relationship. If they don't let you go afterward, put your foot down. They may stomp on it, but don't worry, you have plenty more. I find this interesting given some of the recent events lately. I'll read the other one. It's a happier. Okay, this one's happier. One who has the power of the millipede will see enhanced fortune and improved social life. Gamblers sometimes carry them to bring increased winnings and ward off bad luck. The lucky millipede totem possesses the following virtues: gambler's luck, general good luck, speed, energy, quiet ferocity, healing, improved social life, reduction in negative energy. Keynote: movement into new psychic connections and relationships, protection against psychic deceptions. For those whom the millipede is a messenger, successful movement in all endeavors will come with age. These are often late bloomers. All creatures with antennae reflect increasing psychic sensitivities and perceptions. Because they are also nocturnal, it will be important to pay attention to the dreams when the centipede appears as a messenger. Dreams will become increasingly prophetic and clairvoyant, providing great insight and inspiration. Many centipedes are also blind, and this is a reminder to trust our inner perceptions and not outer appearances. Trusting in our higher perceptions will help us succeed in our endeavors and activities. Cool. For those to whom the centipede appears, relationships are often based upon strong initial psychic connections not easily explained in other ways. When the centipede appears, it is not unusual for a strong psychic connection to occur with someone new shortly thereafter. Damp environments are symbolic of creative, psychic, and emotional areas. For those whom the centipede millipede is a messenger, it's important to find an environment supportive to their creative and psychic sensibilities necessary for their health and well-being. Centipedes and millipedes often remind us to be careful of what we say and how we say it. They alert us to new psychic environments and connections and to new, previously unrecognized psychic relationships. They also appear to alert us to any possible pitfalls within those relationships. Theirs is the energy of quiet protection and psychic exploration. That's pretty groovy. I dig it. Alright, so as you see, there's just two totally different meanings to what millipedes can mean. And for me, what was interesting is, at the time I saw that, the day before, I had just filmed this video where I was talking about boundaries and self-respect, and I had been sharing some things that had happened in my past, and the subject of kind of forgiveness came up a lot for me. I realized after watching my video a number of things, one of them being that I was still hanging on to a lot of resentment, a lot of anger, and I'm not saying I'm like completely transformed and I've forgiven everything. That would be a lie, but it did give me something to think about in terms of stuff I need to work on for myself. With my past, the people who've hurt me, there's basically this idea that sorry, there's someone like four-wheelers or something in the background. Basically, it comes down to it's like holding on to anger, right? That old saying, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. So somebody hurts you and you can be upset, rightfully so, but the longer you hold on to that, the more it's going to calcify and it's going to make it harder for you to be happy, And I found that in my own experience. I've had people hurt me badly many times, some of them my immediate family, like my parents, and forgiveness is hard, but it's necessary. And forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. It's so that you can move on and enjoy life without being stuck in the same past and the same cycles and the same hurt over and over again. And that was what the message the universe was sharing with me was. That's what it meant to me. And I'm sure other people could walk up and see all those centipedes, millipedes, and see a completely different message. And that brings me to another few things with regard to negative synchronicity. One of the things we fear in life the most is the end of life. We fear death. And sometimes we get synchronicities that give us this like ominous doom feeling, like we're in danger. Or you might pull a tarot card and keep getting death. It's important to realize that often the universe speaks to us through metaphors. So the metaphor of death just means change. It does not have to mean the end of your life or your physical body. It might just mean that one aspect of you is dying so that something new can be born. And I have a lot of stories on this subject going into death itself. And that's part of like the shamanic journey, is the shaman goes through this dark night of the soul thing, and they die and they're reborn in a sense. And you can see that echoed in so many stories and religions and cultures, this idea of like resurrection, So if you are seeing some kind of like ominous synchronicity, don't look at it as like your end or your doom. Look at it as maybe there's something you have to work on within yourself, something you need to let go of, so something new can come in, something you can transmute. It's really important not to get caught into the fear, not to get caught into that false evidence appearing real thing. Usually if we're getting spooky stuff, it's for a couple of reasons. It's either A, the universe is showing us our shadow and the stuff we have to work on, or B, it could be other things that are trying to get you into a fear state, because it's very disempowering to be in fear. And those negative people, negative entities, what have you, while they exist, they are not nearly as powerful as they would like you to think they are. And the only power they really have is that you fear them. If you let go of that, they really can't do anything to you. And that's where their power comes from generally, is just tricking people. And you see this in, like the media and everything like that. I mean, there's so much fear in the media, and you kind of have to ask yourself why that is. And it's to keep people in that state, to keep people from realizing that they're creators, that they're part of the divine. You have the ability to transform your world through your thoughts. Now, I'm not saying you just sit there and think good thoughts and everything changes, but what it is your thoughts change how you respond to your situations. And if you're in a fear state, you're not going to respond the same way as you are if you're feeling empowered and you're feeling joyful, and happy. So, and I know this through my own experience, because I've had so many times where I give into that fear stuff and I was a wreck. I was fucked up, and when I could let go of that and come back to love, basically, I felt better. And my reality changed because my decisions changed. Fear closes us off. It makes it difficult for us to connect to people, friendships, opportunity, love, all of that, So it's important to look at things in an objective fashion. Sometimes the universe may be giving you stuff you can work on. In the case of the millipede, it was showing me that I had to let go of some of that anger I was hanging on to. Another good example is all of the synchronicities I had been seeing with like rolling papers. I was smoking filter cigarettes, and that's a lot of waste. And when I could be changing it up, and if I'm going to smoke, doing so in a more thoughtful way. Now, the most conscious thing to do would probably be not smoke, but the universe understands that cigarettes are more addictive than heroin. So it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like the universe is going to be like, you messed up, you're going to burn forever. God's not like that. How can an infinite being that understands every single aspect of infinity to the most tiny detail possibly be like that? There's understanding there. But it does want you to improve. It can see the best possible you that you can be, and it's going to encourage that, but it's not going to judge you, and it's not going to damn you. You do that to yourself. I found I've done that to myself. And judgment and that kind of stuff is the worst thing we can do to ourselves. And if the Spirit's not going to do that to us, we shouldn't either. And that's some lessons I see where I have been really judgmental in my past, and I could work on that. So, but I wanted to share that in the hopes that it might help some people who are maybe struggling with some spooky stuff right now realize their power, and realize B, it might just be a misunderstanding of how you're interpreting the stuff around you. So don't be afraid. It's all okay. In the end, it's all okay. If it's not okay, it's not the end, you know. But just, you know, kind of be mindful of, is it fear or is it love? So, yeah. Love you guys. Namaste. Have an awesome day. Aloha. Shaka. Peace.